Welcome back to the Rebel's Edge, where we're going to be talking about the pause that refreshes, because the president gave us a pause and the market threw a party. And we'll tell you about that, what's moving today, as well as, of course, a little sports right after this on the Rebel's Edge. Bam.
I don't know if he's going to make it back in time for the snap. Well, there he is.
My wife hid this damn thing. She was cleaning up, Pete, and I had to go run into the other side of the room to find it.
Well, you kind of made it back.
Sort of.
Well, another great
folks.
Memorial Day weekend, John, but and even better, the president's got a little bit of a pause. I think we're going to be hitting that pretty quick here at the macro side, huh?
Let's do it. Folks, we always start off with the macro minute, and today we're going to say, hey, stocks seem to like the idea that President Donald J. Trump delayed the implementation of the tariffs on the European Union until July. Pete, I think you and I might have said that on Friday with News Nation, because, not everybody, but a lot of people were, look, the market's selling off. And it's like, because he just said he's going to put a 50% tariff on Europe. And yet he'll probably use that for leverage to get them to the bargaining table faster, because they don't want a June 1st start up to that, because it'll basically idle all of their plants of any export business in Europe. So now they paused, and that's a good thing, right, Pete?
Yeah, now the king of negotiation is going to go after him. Now, he's obviously a little frustrated, though, John, trying to get these guys to the table, whether it's the countries, the 180 countries with all of that. I mean, it's something that he wants this to get going. And I think one of the good ideas that he's got is, hey, he's throwing it out there. People react wrongly, I think, because the reality is he wants to get a deal done. And that's what this is all about. And pausing till July 9th, I think that's fine. I'd also say this, John, it's not even just that. It's still this earnings season where overall we have seen great earnings coming, and a lot of people didn't expect to see that. No, by the way, one of the most recent polls that they got looked like people's confidence is coming back. Imagine that. Huh.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And then we've got Jensen Huang, one of the, the Steve Jobs of this decade so far, Pete.
Yep.
Basically out there saying, Wednesday, we're going to have earnings, and I'd be a buyer.
You got to love it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Those earnings are after the bell on Wednesday. That's tomorrow, folks, because we only trade 4 days this week instead of 5. All right. As far as futures, Pete, I'll take a look at gold. Any day when the markets are feeling risk on, the risk off assets tend to go down, and gold is down a little over 2% today. That's my fantastic future.
Yeah, I agree. And I was just talking about that on another webinar, John, that I was on. I'm going to say this. How about the amazing reaction last week to a lot of what we were already talking about? We spiked all the way up from the 17s all the way up over 25. We got almost to 25.50. And lo and behold, we've pulled back a little bit, John. Imagine that. Now all of a sudden, VIX is back underneath that no man's land of 20. Here we are in the 19s. And I would expect it to be there for a little while longer if this narrative that we were talking about just over there on the macro side of things, if that can show any kind of production of something happening or whatever, I think we are in for maybe back into the 17s again, potentially.
Well, that would be welcome by many of us, Pete, because 17 VIX means we're probably up 200 or 300 more handles in the S&P.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about ATS, because ATS announced a settlement with electric vehicle customer to resolve some outstanding payments. And this was no small potatoes, Pete. This is $135 million in the first quarter of 2026. That's a pretty big deal. And ATS, if they want to survive, they're going to have to be a little more careful about who they mess with when they're basically, especially with EVs, Pete, since so many of them operate at losses. They can't really afford to do anything but just attack when somebody screws up, like apparently ATS is agreeing they screwed up.
Yeah. The settlement at least allows them maybe to focus a little bit better, John, like you were just talking about. I mean, the problem is these guys lose money like it's unbelievable. I mean, their net losses of $68 million is a big problem. Their cash burn is not so great either. I looked at the debt levels. That's pretty high. I know it's spiking up today, John. This is not one of those names where I'm thinking, you know what, even though it's had a really nice move today to the upside, they really have to show us something. They haven't really showed us anything yet, but this settlement certainly gives them a little bit of wiggle room maybe to be able to show a little better growth strategy in what they've already done. So I'd be very, very cautious on this name.
Well, how about this one, Pete? I'm guessing you might be a little interested in this one, Penduo Duo, or PDD, because it basically put up some of the worst numbers that they've seen in a long time. And for that reason, $119 stock, at least last week when it closed on Friday, $119, craters into the 90s like that. And it's still down about 14% on the day. These earnings numbers were far from what anyone had expected, even though they did expect a little bit of contraction. They didn't expect anything like this, Pete.
And I think what they're running into now, John, sort of a chainsaw, really, because the competition level has gotten greater and greater and greater. And it's not necessarily that PDD is failing. The problem is the competition is actually pretty good. And I think that's really what's hurting them right now. You look at their sales, their earnings, things aren't really looking so great right now. The challenges that they have in front of them, whether it's tariffs or the competition, that's there. Their net income is down 45% over year. T-Mo's even struggling. Everywhere you look, you see something negative. This is a stock, John, that's gotten beaten up pretty good. It's all the way back down. It was down below 100. I'm not sure where it is right now, but with the 52-week high of 160, it's a heck of a long ways from those highs. And I would say deservedly so. I mean, they have competition and they're going to have to deal with tariffs. I think that combination really does make it very, very difficult for them at this point in time.
Well, what about this one, Pete? WeRide, WRD. We've talked about it because autonomous driving technology, that's what they're all about. Well, today they announced an expansion into Saudi Arabia. And obviously, Saudi wants to be right up there with the United States and China in terms of data centers and so forth, in terms of eVTOL, those electric vertical lift takeoff and landing craft. You know, people call them robo taxis in the sky, that kind of thing. But these guys are autonomous driving tech. Saudi wants to be right at the forefront, and now they've just got these guys committed to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, and I think it's that whole area, John, that they really are doing very, very well. WeRide is allowed to be able to be there and do what they do, and they're launching all of this. They're also launching with Uber at the latter part of this year, they say, 2025 here, but the latter part of 2025, second half. The robo-taxi idea is something I think a lot of people are very excited about, and the possibilities that come with that and the automation and the driving. It's a real interesting global strategy that they've got, and they're going right into the Middle East, which I think makes it very, very interesting. Matter of fact, Morgan Stanley, they're holding on to an overweight, John, but the guy took his price target from 23 to 13. So it's a big day today for WRD. They're up about, 14, 15%, something like that. But they still have a long ways to go, and they've got to still prove themselves. And I think that's something that we'll see how it plays out over the next couple of months. But if indeed things go well into the second half of the year, I got a funny feeling that the Morgan Stanley analyst is probably going to lift that price target up.
Well, the 52-week high is $44. The low is $6. So yeah, it's having a 15% rally today, but that only brings it back to 1050. So Saudi is a great market for them because you can basically deal with just one guy and he can say, yeah. But when you're trying to get into Europe or you're trying to get into various parts of Asia other than China, where the company's based, it's a little tougher to get everything passed. But I do think this is a pretty interesting company. And like you said, the fact that they're partnering with Uber and so forth later this year, pretty big deal.
Yeah.
One more, Pete. Let's hit one more stock, and it's going to be ETWO, E2 Open. Basically, the company announcing it will be acquired by Wise Tech Global. All cash deal, basically a $2 billion plus deal. And under the agreement, they're going to get about $3.30 a share. That's a 68% premium over where it was April 30th when people started talking, Pete. So pretty nice premium if you're somebody who is an investor in ETWO.
Yeah, and WiseTech seems to think that this can mesh right in with their business too, John. I think it's probably something that I wish we would have known a little bit more about this one ahead of time, just because of the fact that when you look at it, it really does make a lot of sense. They say the deal's going to get done sometime in the second half, so they're both going to continue to trade. But yeah, $2.1 billion, that's quite a number. And by the way, we keep bringing this up, John, and I keep throwing it out there, but we are seeing more in the acquisition world, and we've talked about IPOs getting a little bit hotter. I think we've seen a little bit of that. That's still a little bit slower than normal, but we'll see how that plays out. I think this still plays into the investment banking world. I think there's a lot going on, a lot more going on than a lot of people fully realize. But yeah, $3.30 a share, John, $2.1 billion, all cash deal. I would say, and a 68% premium over the April number. I would say that the folks over there at E2 are probably pretty happy about these results.
Yep. Still holding on to a 26% jump, folks. Basically right up there to that takeout price, almost. It's $3.21 at mid-session. All right. Well, Pete, I found a couple interesting bits of sports video for you, some shorts.
Indeed.
So as far as our sports shorts, how about this? A little Savannah Bananas. These guys are bananas. Watch this.
Did everybody see what that guy did? If you've never seen the Savannah Bananas, you gotta watch them. I mean, look at the entertainment value.
At its finest.
Pete, how about the shortstop? I think it was shortstop or third base. I can't remember.
It was third base.
He third baseman throws the ball between his legs, catches it, and whips it to first, where the guy catches it behind his back. And then the umpire jumps and flips and calls the guy out.
You gotta love it.
The Globetrotters have nothing on these guys, Pete.
No,
nothing.
No. This is phenomenal. You and I have been paying attention to it for a long time, and it's getting far more popular. You were talking about the tour that they're going to go on, which they hadn't really done in the past, something like this. They really are fun. I'll tell you what, if you were lucky enough to have them come anywhere near where you are, you want to be a part of that. It's phenomenal. I've been lucky to be able to see some of that, John, and I'll tell you, it's absolutely it's crazy, but it's the most fun thing you'll ever watch. It makes baseball something fun to watch again, for sure.
Oh, your baseball fans aren't going to like that.
Well, they've done a lot of things that are good things, though, John, in my opinion. I mean, the fact that they we're not hearing anything about them, with the pitch clock anymore, right? I mean, there's a lot of different things that are going on where they were trying to get into the modern day of baseball, which is, hey, there's always going to be things that change. They do it in the NFL, they do it in the NHL, they do it in the NBA, they do it in Major League Baseball. Some things make a heck of a lot of sense. And I think what they've done over the last couple of years really has helped a lot of the viewership and the ticket buying, John, because the games aren't nearly as long as they were. And let's be honest, attention spans have gotten a lot shorter because of shows like what you and I do, where it's 20 minutes or thereabouts. And then people are like, all right, that was great. Now I'm on to the next thing. But anyway, Major League Baseball, we might as well start there, John, since we had that clip. So the cream is certainly sitting at the top, right? I mean, you look out there and you see Shohei Ohtani. You know who's leading the entire Major League Baseball in home runs? Yep, it's him. 19 home runs so far. You know who's right behind him in second place? Aaron Judge. He's not only behind him there, John, and he's torquing him. He is torquing him. But he's also leading in batting average. The guy's batting damn near 400. it's really amazing to see what these guys are doing. By the way, the Yankees sit on top of the AL East. The Dodgers sit on the top of the NL West. So I think there's a lot of good things going on. And in your old city of Chicago, the Cubs, they've got an entire outfield, John. Here's what those guys got. They've got the 3 guys in the outfield, the center field, left field, center, or right field. You've got 14 home runs, 12 home runs. Tucker, Suzuki, and Crow Armstrong. I mean, they're doing something pretty damn good down there in Chicago, John, or up, I should say, because they're the northern school team in baseball. I'll tell you what, they're playing some damn good baseball, and they're right up there with the Dodgers and with the Yankees and with the very best that's out there right now. The Cubs are looking good, man.
Yeah, well, Mr. Ricketts, Tom Ricketts is a brilliant guy. He traded on the floor with Pete and me, folks. Mm-hmm. And boy, he's a University of Chicago grad, smart guy. Brother is or was the governor of Nebraska, Pete.
I think he still is, I think. I'm pretty sure he is.
One of them might be a senator from Nebraska, for God's sake. I mean, the family started Ameritrade, and then it became TD Ameritrade. Then they sold it to Schwab and so forth. I mean, that family's got both a lot of smarts and a lot of money. That's a lot of zeros adding up there, Pete.
Yeah,
all right.
Not so bad.
What else you got?
How about this? It's 100 days from the NFL kickoff, John, 2025, the season. We'll still have all the training camps, everything else, but the season is 100 days out. That's pretty cool. So I wanted to reflect on one thing. There's a team out there that I think has done unbelievable things in the offseason in free agency. I think they did a great job in the draft. And how about this for some numbers, John? The Buffalo Bills, who, by the way, are the Hard Knocks team this year, but how about this from a betting perspective? Not only did they do great in free agency and the draft and everything else that they've done in the offseason, 6 of their 9 draft picks came on the defensive side of the ball. They want to make sure that that defensive side can shore up for that great offense that they've got. But it's unbelievable what they've been able to do. But how about if I told you this? They are favored in every single game of 2025 on the betting lines. They are favored. 17 games, they're favored to win those games. I mean, what do you think of that? I mean, I can't say much more than that. That's pretty incredible.
Well, I went over to our friends Polymarket, Pete, and took a look at their prediction markets, since you and I love to do that.
Yeah.
And the Bills, 12% chance to win it all, Super Bowl. Ravens, 12%, right there with them, although more money has been bet on the Bills. Mm-hmm. Then we've got the Eagles, 12%, the Chiefs, 11%, Lions, 9%, and then we fall all the way off to, just over 5% for, a number of teams, and then it goes all the way down to like almost 0. But the fact that there are basically 4 teams, I'm going to throw the Chiefs right up there with them. You've got Ravens, Bills, Eagles, Chiefs, all at about 12% chance on Polymarket. Yep. Those are 4 tough games. Whoever is playing those 4 teams, I bet they're going to be the underdog. I don't care. Now, the only difference is, of course, if it's Kansas City against the Bills, if it's the Eagles against the Ravens, yeah, I get it. They might not stand out like they do otherwise. But otherwise, just as Pete said, 17 games they're favored early on. And obviously things can happen. We're not rooting for injuries or anything, but those things happen. Yeah. And every once in a while, an injury happens, and then you get a Kurt Warner. When Green goes down and all of a sudden Kurt Warner comes in and freaking lights up the league. Yeah. Those things do happen. And something like that might happen in Cleveland. Who knows? I mean, Shedeur might actually get his head on straight and play some good ball there. And all of a sudden, that is a guy you don't want scrambling around and throwing the football, Pete. I will say that. He's got a cannon, and he's pretty quick. I'm not saying he's the fastest quarterback, but he's definitely one of those sub 4.5 guys. Yeah. And he could be a pain in the butt for any defense to defense.
Yeah. I just think it's exciting. And I don't know if I've ever seen that before, John, where they're literally, there's a team out there favored in every single game. I mean, it sounds absurd, to be honest with you. And let's just say they actually played that out. Well, they start getting towards that Miami Dolphins team that still gets to hold up that hand who had an undefeated season, right? I mean, that's going back into what was that, the 70s, I think, with Zonka and everybody else when they won all those
Zonka and Kick and Bonaconti and all those guys.
Warfield and all those guys. Yeah. That's going back a long ways, man.
It is. Well, we appreciate you guys sticking with us. We will be back tomorrow with another's Rebel's Edge at 1 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you check out marketrebellion.com/get started for insights into stocks, for financial literacy, and maybe if you want some technicals, we got guys that'll give you that too, as well as Jeff Garbaz over there with the short play, his short setups and so forth. Great guy with really fabulous institutional information. All right. Well, what time are we back tomorrow, Pete?
We're back at 1 p.m. Eastern time, John. Giddy up, baby.
See you then.